Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to a new week. This week is going to be a little bit different. Our story is a book that's made up of a lot of poems, and poems are called poetry. Now, when you think of poetry or poems, you might think of words that rhyme, like a nursery rhyme where the words rhyme. And that's true. A lot of poems, the words do rhyme. But did you know that poetry is really just a style of writing where writers play with words? They like to have fun with words. Sometimes they use a certain amount of syllables or a certain amount of lines. But poetry is just beautiful writing where the writers are just having fun with their words. Poetry can really be anything. The main purpose for poetry is to make a connection with the readers. There really are no rules, so your words don't have to rhyme in order for it to be poetry. We're going to read a book this week called Thunder Underground, and we're going to continue talking a lot about things that are underground. It might be plants, it might be animals, it might be insects, but everything that is in this book is underground. And it is a book of poems written by Jane Yolen. So that's going to be kind of fun. And you're going to actually get a chance to write some poems of your own. The first poem that we're going to read is called Velvet. Now, when I first saw this, I thought for sure that Velvet was the rabbit right here. But Velvet is actually the name of the mole. Do you remember what a mole is? Do you remember when we read Jan Brett's book, The Mitten? The mole was the first animal to go into the mitten. Do you remember that? And this is what a mole looks like. Much smaller than a rabbit, right? So this is the rabbit's burrow. It's quite big. But this is the mole's burrow. And I can show you on the other page how far that mole's burrow goes. This is another poem called Moles Eats. And we're going to read that later. But today we're going to read the poem Velvet. Live like the velvet mole, Eleanor Wiley. And that's just a quote that this woman wrote about a mole. She said that we should live like the velvet mole. Mole in his hole, the soft brown of old rubbed velvet, wrinkles up dirt through the night. Does he daydream of grass or the roots of grass? Does he listen to beetles passing? Does he count in his blind way the pink ribbony worms? See all those worms down there? Or are his thoughts dark and deep as velvet tunnels, velvet sleep? Now, if you've ever felt velvet, you know that it's very soft. Okay? The words in this poem did not rhyme, did they? It just told about the mole. And it described the mole and what he might be thinking or dreaming about. Moles live underground. Okay, the next one that we're going to read is about underground rivers. Now, if you've ever been in a cave, you might have seen an underground river. Have you? Some caves have them. Underground rivers, silver above, black ribbon below, twisting round roots, the dark rivers go. If nobody sees them, are they really there? Only deep animals seem to beware. Did this one have rhyming words? It did, didn't it? Below, go, there, where. So this poem did have rhyming words. Also, it was about something underground. It was about the rivers underground. The last poem that we're going to read today is called Seeds. And I thought this was fun because hopefully some of you are still growing your seeds. Mine did not do well, but I know Brooklyn is having really good luck with hers. If your seeds are still growing, would you have Mom or Dad take a picture and text that to me? This poem is called Seeds. This dot, this spot, this period at the end of winter's sentence writes its way up through the dull slate of soil into the paragraph of spring. Did this poem have rhyming words? It did not. I had to read this poem 3 times to understand what it meant. Let's read it again and see if you can figure out what this means. Seeds. This dot, this spot, this period at the end of winter's sentence. What does that mean, a period at the end of winter's sentence? You know how a period is like a dot at the end of a sentence? It's saying that a seed is the dot at the end of winter's sentence. When do we plant seeds? Do we plant them during the winter or at the end of winter? Yeah. So we plant them at the end of winter. Let's read what else it says. Writes its way up through the dull slate of soil. The soil is the dirt. It's breaking through the dirt into the paragraph of spring. So sentences, 3 or more sentences, turn into a paragraph. This dot, this seed at winter's end, turns into spring. Isn't that cool? I thought that was really cool. I would like you to pause my video for a minute and get a piece of paper and pencil. We're going to write about what that poem means. Seeds. And this is called analyzing seeds. So if you want to pause the video for a minute while you get your things ready. Okay, so analyzing seeds. That means analyzing the poem that we read called Seeds, thinking about seeds. Okay, so I drew a picture of what it looked like in the book. We had the seed, and it grew roots down in the soil, right? And it also sprouted a little seedling. It was called a period at the end of winter's sentence. And to me, that meant that we planted the seed at the end of winter, and then it turned into spring. Just like a sentence or 3 or more sentences can turn into a paragraph, the seed turned into the paragraph of spring. Would you write something that you liked about that poem, whether it was comparing the seed to a period or comparing the plant to a paragraph? That was kind of a cool poem. Even though it didn't have rhyming words, it had a beautiful play with words. We're going to read more poems tomorrow and the next day, every day until Friday. Hopefully we'll get to read every poem in our book, Thunder Underground. See you next time. Bye.